Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Autogen AI webinar. Thank you for taking the time to join today. My name is Demi Coombe, and I am one of the onboarding specialists here at Autogen AI. So today I'm going to take you through the software, an exciting overview of how you would use the software to leverage your bids. Great. I'm going to start. Fantastic. So can you all see my screen? I think that is a yes. Great stuff. Right, so as you can see, we are in Autogen AI, the ability for you to write and get to your first draft a lot quicker than you normally would. So you have the option when you are writing and you want to work on a personal document or a bid before you are submitting it to your wider team for a review, you can head over to drafts and you can create a document. And over here, you will have multiple documents that you'll work on. So for example, I could just to show you, here is test one, and I can have another document that says test two. And whatever I type in this document will be completely separate to the first document. So that is essentially how drafts work. And within your draft page, this is what we call the editing page. So here you have the ability to edit your text, and these are through various transformations. So I'll try and get through as many as I can as possible with you today. But you can see that we can expand your text, summarize, improve your grammar, change your tense, rephrase, translate to a different language, incorporate key messaging, change your text from a passive voice to an active voice with we will, reduce your word character count, word cutting, so removing adverbs, adjectives, replacing commas with slashes, which is vital to the bid writing process, adding a bit more evidence to your bid with explain how, add statistics, giving an example, add a case study, and even search. We've got pure completion, which allows you to prompt with the software and transform your text and essentially make it do anything you want. Here we have a specific tone of voice, which would then be tailored to your own company style guide and tone of writing that you can change your text into your company style of writing. As you are working through your documents, as you are working through your text, you'll have the ability to review as you write. So you can see here, we've got this predefined criteria where we will give you suggestions. The AI will give you suggestions on how you could improve your approach and methodology, improve in giving more evidence. Can your text be a little bit more robust or innovative? How is your spelling and grammar? These are different areas in our Gamma review where we can give you suggestions on where you can improve. To take it to the next level, you can also insert your bid question here and your tender requirements in there. And then you will be able to review the text that you have on your editing page against that specific criteria. So you can just pick and choose the ones that you want, or you can select all of them and you would go review selected. And that is essentially what Gamma review is. Right, so I'm going to take you a little bit through a bit of a workflow when you are in the software and going through the features step by step. So before I head on into anything else, let's create a project. So your draft, again, is your private space for you to work on documents, to keep them secure before sharing anything with your team. You can rename, duplicate, or even delete a document. But I would like to create a project. So this is fantastic to streamline your bid writing process and all of your projects, almost like a bid management tool. And Autogen is really the one-stop shop for everything to do with bid writing. So first things first, you come into your project, to projects, click add project, and I will say here webinar, and I click confirm. I can put who my client name is. So for the purpose of the webinar, I'm going to say Autogen AI demo. I can do a start date. So today is the 7th of August. And let's say I'm going to give myself a deadline of 23 days. Within the bid that I'm working on, I can choose my project status. So am I in the prepare phase? Are we busy writing? Are we reviewing? Is it submitted? Has it been won, lost, or is it an archive bid? So I'm currently in my writing phase. In addition to this, you can give a summary. So when you add your team members to the project that you are working on, they can look at the summary and get an outline of your purpose, goals, key highlights. So when they step into the project, it really gives them the opportunity to understand what it is that you're writing about. So I can say this is Autogen AI webinar. Great. And then I know. If I wanted to, I could add some of my colleagues to work on this project with me. So in order to do that, you head over to where your name is and you click the three dots, and I can say manage members, and I would add my friend, my colleague Cam. I can decide if I want to add him as a viewer, contributor, or admin. So if he's a viewer, he'll have view access only. He can't make any editorial changes to my documents. If he is a contributor, he can add to the documents, make changes. And then if he is an admin, he'll be able to add people and delete the documents as well as contribute as well. So I'll make him a contributor. I can click add, and then I can continue adding as many people as I need. And I can also change them over here. And I'll click confirm. So now Cam will have this project updated in his Autogen AI site. Great. So before we begin, usually when you are writing a bid, you want to know, where is it? Where do we start? How do we know what exactly is being asked of us? I have so many documents to read, not enough time. Are we even going to bid for this? What are those pre-bid tasks looking like for you? So to take away that stress, to take away that heavy lifting, we have something called Extract. Now, Extract is the ability to upload either a singular document or multiple documents. You can browse into your laptop and you can upload it that way, or you can even paste in some text here. So I've chosen to upload a singular file. Again, you can upload multiple files at once. And here I'm wanting to get a summary, see what this bid is about. I've uploaded a specification. What is it that they want from me? What are they asking? Is this possible for us to even do that? So here we've got summarize, and you can choose, do you want to summarize it 2 pages, 1 page, half page, a paragraph? Here we have extract. So again, really allowing you to pull apart that specification to see what is the bid decision information. Is this something we can bid for? What are the commissioner's priorities? What is being asked of me? What are the authorities asking? Is this something that we can meet? What is the compliance, date and timeline, statistics? And you can also extract specific information like data protection. Here we have shred. So this downloads the specification. Well, it shreds the specification and downloads it to an Excel spreadsheet where it really highlights all the areas that you are essentially going to be compliant against. So the wills, musts, shoulds, shalls, will not, should not. But you can also enter specific keywords that might be relevant to you and your company. For example, ensure, acknowledge, and you can use it as a compliance checklist to really see what are the metrics that you're being measured against. Once you have selected, so just to show you, I'll click that. And once you've done that, the sliding door will open to the next page, and you can see as it's busy streaming. But I've already got the commissioner's priorities and a summary of the specification ready to go. So I can see at a glance exactly what this bid is about. And it's taking me from reading 27,000 words down to 600 words, really making a difference to speed. And the same with the commissioner's priorities. Great. So that's essentially how Extract works. To show you Shred, you would just click on that, and then it will download, as you can see, into your downloads as an Excel spreadsheet. Fantastic. So I'll circle back to the commissioner's priorities in a moment, but I want to head back into my project. So I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to my webinar. And before I begin, before you begin writing, sometimes you need to get some ideas as to what you're going to write about. So as you can see over here, I'm editing. So I'll just say, I'll call that webinar one. Actually, as you can see, I'm at webinar one page and I'm busy editing, but sometimes I don't really know where to start and I might need to get some ideas. This is where you come to the Ideator. So the Ideator is the opportunity for you to ask a question that you would normally go to your busy SME, and you can get singular ideas as to your answer. So I've said, how could Autogen AI, a provider of bid writing software, reduce their carbon footprint? To give a little bit more information and a bit more context, I'm going to go to my Add Context tab, and I just want to guide and filter the generations that the software uses. So I'll say this is a bid for an IT contract for the UK government. Just giving a little bit more information so that it streamlines its search. You can modify your ideas. So would you like your ideas to be written in a way that's more innovative, persuasive, strategic, analytical? I mean, there's a whole bunch of words that you can choose and ways in which your ideas can come out. So maybe I want them to be a bit more implementation focused, and they'll be written in a way that's more implementation focused. Here I can decide if I want to pull ideas from my library, Creative AI, or Internet AI, and I can click go. Now, what's important to remember is that Autogen AI really does rely on the human judgment. It's not here to just spit out a response and you take that response and off you go. You are always in control over your outputs. So you are deciding, am I going to get a source from the internet? Am I purely going to use Creative AI, or am I going to use my personalized bid library? So as you can see, here we've got Creative AI. If you're pulling something from Library AI, you can click on that and I can see exactly what link and what source has been used. Likewise for the internet. To streamline this even further, so for example, if I wanted to work only with a particular business unit, only with a specific team, and I didn't want to pull information from any other areas, I can head over to my library, see all the different documents that I've got here. But to take it a step further, I can go to my settings. I'm now generating using all the documents in my library, and I can decide that I'm only going to select those 3 folders. So when I head back to so this is a little shortcut. When I head back to my Ideator, you can see that over here, I've got a yellow icon, and that's to show me the next time I generate, it's only going to pull from those folders. Right, so just to show you that you can really streamline your approach. If you like an idea and you want to work with the idea, you can select it, select it, select it. And this is just to show you that you can start to craft your response, number 1. Number 2, you are in control over your outputs. You're picking and choosing what you want to go into your response. And it's all based off your selection. It's based off your human judgment and relies on your human judgment. Number 3, to craft it down even further, you can reorder and reshuffle the ideas you've selected. So you can decide what you'd like to come first, second. You can edit these as you'd like. You can enter in your own custom idea. To take it a step further, if I click generate paragraphs, what will happen is this question that I've asked was my overarching bid question, and these ideas will become subheadings, and I can have paragraphs under each idea. And here I'm really stressing the excitement of getting to a first draft quicker. So this allows you to get to the ideas quicker, to structure a first draft response so that you can spend more time reviewing, so that you can spend more time crafting your response. So now you can see I have got, here's my question. I have got a first draft response ready to go just as that. And if I'm wanting to review, I can review at the same time. So if I want to highlight this section and see, what will we say about approach and methodology, robustness, and evidence. And I can review as I'm working through my response, I can review. So the Ideator is a great place to get ideas, especially if you're starting off the blank page. It's all about getting off of the blank page quicker, allowing you to have the opportunity to hone in on your response, to really craft that down. Now, what's going to happen with the Gamma review is it's going to give me suggestions to where I can improve. So as you can see, it quotes the parts of my editing part, my part of my text, and it says, and it gives me suggestions as to how I can improve that. So this sentence indicates an initiative but doesn't clarify how. So great, approach and methodology. How am I going to do that? And this is where the editing tool really is useful, because we have specific, as we call, transformations that are about adding evidence, really enhancing your writing. So if I know I need to add a bit more of a methodology, or I need to add a little bit more evidence, so going back to adding a bit more methodology, I can find that area where the suggestion was, and I can straight away highlight it. So I might maybe want to be a little bit more specific. So you always highlight the text you're working with and click explain how, and then it automatically takes me to the right. And now it's going to give me suggestions as to how I can do something. How and the explain how is really great for answering those so what type questions. As you can see, it is pulling ideas from your library and still on these specified folders, pulling from the internet and creative AI. Again, honing in on that augmented intelligence, we're never going to give you just one output. There are always going to be various options that you can choose from. I can see what sources have been used at any point within my text to really support in the verification of how you use the software. If it is something that I want to add to my text, I can just pop my cursor there, select that, and you can add it. Again, you can edit on the right-hand side. You can manually pick and choose what you want to take. Maybe you want to take a paragraph from here and a sentence from there and really craft your response together. That is something that you can do. So I'm going to start over and clear my suggestions, clear my responses. Great. To take you a step further, I just want to delete my page so I can start again. To take you a step further, I want to show you Research Assistant. So while we have these fantastic tools in the editing page, we've also got the ability to research and really interrogate whether it's a specific document, or do competitor analysis, or identify specific areas within your own business that you could leverage. So I'm going to just use all the documents in my library for this one. So I'm going back and I'm toggling that off. And I'm heading over to Research Assistant. So I'm saying, why should companies who bid use Autogen AI? Great question. Let's see. Why should you use Autogen AI? What is it that I can do to really show you the importance of Autogen AI and the impressiveness of Autogen? So what Research Assistant is doing is it's going to, as you can see, it had library AI and internet AI, and it's going to go through the internet and the library to pull sources. As you can see here, it's the library sources, and here's one from the internet. And it's quite specifically mentions the source. As you can see, it's got that inline quotes. So I can take that, as you can see there, copy, and I'm going to head back to my page and my projects, and I'm going to paste it in there. And I want to take that and I want to further that. So I'm going to highlight that, and I'm going to just click expand. And I can choose what word count I want to use, 200 words. I'll have all three ticks just so that you can see. And it takes this information and it's going to really expand on it, pulling from my library. And you don't necessarily need to have a big paragraph that you might want to expand from. It could be a singular idea. It could be a sentence. So at the top, you can see I've got 2 sources from creative, 2 from internet, and 2 from library. So I can use that to see my sources, and I can use that to see what sources have been used. Salesforce Ventures, and I can see what's been used. And that's just an example of how you could use expand. But if I were to take a singular idea, so if I were to take this idea and just go to quite a random one, just pop it in. And I can just say, add in here. Let me show you actually. If I go settings and I put in my company name here, I'm showing you how I'm taking very generic text. And by clicking we will, I'm automatically saying Autogen AI will. Autogen will establish. Autogen will. So I'm taking it from this passive voice to this active voice. And I'm going to highlight that. And I'm going to go from there. And I'm going to expand to 400 words. I want to know Autogen AI will establish a committee within the company to regularly review and assess ways to reduce the carbon footprint. So I'm coming to expand to literally take that singular sentence and give me 400 words based off of that. And I can pick and choose again what it is that I want to work on, what it is that I like to use. Great. Bringing it back to and you can see the word count at the top. Whenever you are using the editing page, at any point you can click view sources, and I can see what sources have been used to give me my text on the page. If there's something that's been written and I'm not 100% sure where that's come from, you can use search, which is the magnifying glass over there, to search through your library and the internet to identify what it is, where this piece of information has come from. As the software semantically searches and does a keyword search, it is able to troll through the internet and your library to find all the places in which that is semantically similar and keywords similarity to what you've highlighted. Taking a step further, so showing you why should companies bid for Autogen AI, companies who bid use Autogen AI. I'm showing you another way that you can use Research Assistant. So I'm going to use this add variable tab, and I'm going to ask the question, what is the unemployment rate in countries? I'm going to highlight this word countries because I want to know in various countries, right? And I'm going to click add variable. So I'm going to say United Kingdom, France, Germany, and Portugal, just as an example. And I can drop it down. And the reason you can drop down is because you can ask about 10 questions at a time if you'd like. But I'll remove that first one. And what it's going to do is it's going to generate outputs, individual outputs based off of the singular questions, the singular variables that I've asked. And again, for each point, it's going to show me sources from the library, sources from the internet, if it is relevant. So as you can see, I can see for the United Kingdom, it shows me where it's pulled that from. I can see the same for France, same for Germany, and the same for Portugal. So this is a fantastic way of doing competitor analysis, or if you're needing to get write-ups for different sectors of the business, various different ways in which you would use Research Assistant. But it basically takes what you would do in a normal Google situation and takes it to the next level. So that's Research Assistant. Okay, taking you back to the editing page, there are many different things that you can do within the editing tool that I won't get to show all of them to you today, but I'll just show you a little bit more. So here I'm going to show you pure completion. So I'm going to say rewrite the above as a LinkedIn post include hashtags and emojis. So I've put my prompt at the bottom, highlighted that, and I've clicked pure completion. And what it's going to do is it's going to take this text that I've got on my page and it's going to turn it into a LinkedIn post. As you can see here, it's used emojis, it's used hashtags, and it it knows what is a LinkedIn post. It knows exactly what it needs to do to give you what you want. To take this a step further, I'm going to head back to extract and I'm going to take these commissioners' priorities. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to go back to my project. I'm going to take another document. I'm going to paste them in here. And I'm going to use a prompt to say, based on the above commissioners' priorities, generates potential win themes for a bid. So now I'm using this to take the commissioner's priorities and to generate win themes. And as you can see, it will identify the specific areas that have been asked of you in the specification, and it will generate win themes based off of that. So it's busy streaming, and the first option is giving me 11 different win themes. So I'll use option 2. Now, what you can do with these win themes is I can copy them here. And with each project, we've got something called inputs. So your inputs, it allows you to input extra pieces of information, anything you wanting to weave into your response, whether it's hot buttons, win themes, commissioners' priorities, or specific company values and objectives that you are wanting to mirror within your bid response. You can add them in here. So you'd go add inputs, and I'll say win themes. And to create them, I'm going to paste in my win themes there. I think that worked. Did I copy it? Yeah, paste in my win themes. And here they are. And I can delete them. I can add in some more. I can edit them if I'd like to. And I've got my win themes. Now, when I go back to my text that I was working on over here, and I might want to weave in a specific win theme. So I'd go to incorporate, I'd highlight the text that I'm referring to, head over to incorporate, and I can choose if I want to implement effective participant engagement strategies. And what it's going to do is it's going to take that win theme, it shows you what the win theme is, and it's going to rewrite your text that you've highlighted to weave in that win theme. And you can click show difference to see exactly how it's done that. It doesn't just drop it in, it rewrites it to really bring in that specific messaging. So I can then use option 3 and I can do it that way. Another feature that our users love is the ability to summarize. So you can take a text that was 283 words and I've summarized it down into 65 words, just like that. Or alternatively, you can craft your summarization a little bit more specifically with reducing word or character count. So at the moment, I'm at 283 words. I can reduce that further, maybe down to 150. And what it's going to do is it's going to craft through my response and see, right, what can I remove or change to get you down to that word count that you want. And again, you can click show difference to see how it's done that for you. So if that's something that you'd like, taking 283, bringing it down a lot smaller. Adding some evidence, just very quickly. I showed you explain how, expand, but I just want to quickly show you adding a case study. So adding a case study is all about what's in your library, really pulling information. I mean, it does pull from the internet as well, obviously, but it's a great way to add in evidence to add a case study based off of, again, what you have in your library. And to really hone in on previous responses that you could then repurpose as case studies, use them as examples. This recording will be shared with everyone after the session. It's really exciting. If you want to see more, there's so much depth to the software. As you can see, I've just scratched the surface. I haven't even shown you how the translate feature works, but there's so much depth to the software, and the way in which you'll use the software is super exciting. So please do get in touch if you would like to book in a demo with one of our sales team members. Thank you so much. And now we are moving on to questions. Are there any questions? So I'm just checking in the webinar chat if there are any questions. I can see there's a hand. Yes, Matthew. Sorry, I didn't see that there was a hand.
That's all right. I've got that the chat is disabled when I try to go into that as well.
Oh, no problem.
I might be hitting other people. I was hoping it was. Thanks for that fantastic demonstration. I was wondering if you could sort of articulate a bit more then on at the beginning when you looked at, okay, how do we extract the core information out of an RFI document?
Yes.
I didn't quite see then how you would use the project that you've set up to actually show, okay, what are the questions I'm going to be answering through the bid? How do we go about iterating and building that up? I was wondering if you, is it just a sort of, okay, here's some information, copy and paste them, or is that workflow built into the platform?
Yeah, really good question. So just for the purpose of today, it's a bit more of an overview, just really showing you sort of a quick overview of how the software would work. But essentially, with the extract tool, the ability is to pull out specific, key information so that you can then decide, are you bidding, aren't you bidding, are you going to move into your storyboarding phase, are you going to write, and it depends on where you're at within your bid writing process. But essentially what it is you can use that information within the other areas of the software.
So to get into some of that more detail, would that be another conversation maybe with the sales team?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because when we have a demo, we can really go through the step-by-step process of how it would work.
Brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? You can also use the chat, but feel free to put your hand up so I can take you off mute. Yes, Virginia.
Hi.
Hi.
So question, thank you so much. I knew very little about how to use AI, and if I'm honest, I probably had lots of misconceptions, like probably a lot of people, and I found it really helpful. But two kind of an observation and also a question. So I think it's great that it fast tracks you to be able to produce that first extract. But for me as a person, I get a lot of value out of reading that detailed draft, because for me, and maybe it's the way my brain works best, processing that information, maybe even doing things like printing it off, crossing it through, raising questions, and it kind of helps me, particularly if I'm in a field where maybe I'm not an expert, to really start to understand it. So just one observation really I would make, really, but that's obviously a choice.
Yeah, so what we always encourage is we do say that it's not here to like eradicate the human judgment. That's what the software relies on. It needs you to make it, work well. It's not like not anyone can just come off, not any old person can just use the software and then they're magically a bid writer. That it requires the talent and the skill of writers to really use the software to the best of the ability. Kind of like when you're playing the piano. If you are basic level of playing the piano, it doesn't matter if it's a grand piano or a keyboard. Like if you can't play, you can't play. So that's the one thing. But yes, so I would always encourage you to read it, absolutely. But it's just a great way to get that summary and that overview. So when you are pressed for time, you can get essentially the outset of what it is about, because sometimes it's not going to be a case of we're bidding for this. And you can quite quickly look in your library to see if it's something that you have done before, especially for large organizations.
Yeah, I think that's true. And also, I think sometimes you can get really lost in the detail, can't you? And you just need to be able to step back and say, okay, so what is this saying to me? The other thing...
Sorry, just to quickly tell you, I think you'd really like the shred function. So I'm just trying to see if there's a way that I can show you what it looks like. But what that does is it doesn't essentially remove any information. It highlights the information. So you're going through the entire specification, but it's highlighted for you the specific words that either that you've requested, like ensure or acknowledge, but it highlights will, must, should, so that you really are using it like a compliance checklist alongside extracting. So it really does help you shred and pull apart so you don't miss any of the nitty-gritty details.
Okay, and then just a question from you, or a recommendation really about, when you've written these bids, I like to be open and honest with people. Would you suggest that on the bottom you say this is written with the benefits of AI, but X, Y, and Z? Because I'm hearing sometimes people can spot if something has been written from AI. And I'd want to be upfront about that and explain why I have used it.
Yeah. So usually with our clients, it's within their company, so they would know who's got access and who would be using it for sure. And I do think that it does rely on the human judgment. You can't just go click send.
No.
There to get you to that first draft quicker, but it relies on your excellence to be able to draft it. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
And I think if you have a really well-established library, then it just takes it to the next level.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your questions and your time. I think there might have been, I don't know if there was one more question. Anyone else like to ask anything? Let's see if there's in the chat. So there's a question in the Q&A that says, would it be able to read and interpret tables and graphs? Yes. Yes, it can. I can also interpret images and flow charts. If you upload them to the library, it can then generate text based off of that. So please feel free to reach out to book in some time for a demo so that you can see the depths of the software, take it a little bit at a not so fast-paced webinar, and you can ask, as many questions as you'd like. Great. We've got another question on the Q&A that says, can it generate graphics or only text? At the moment, it is only text, but as the speed of AI works like lightning, it could be sooner than we think. Great stuff. I will be on the call if there are any more questions. So feel free to stay on if you'd like to ask any more questions. Otherwise, thank you so much for your time. It was great to host another webinar and to show you our incredible software and what Autogen AI can do.